Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Today I just wanted to discuss with you what I was thinking about getting for my next bike. I was thinking about getting something that would go do a little off-road, but I was just talking to that guy on the motorcycle going the other way a few minutes ago. Anyway, I was thinking about getting something that'll go off-road, ride some trails. I was thinking about an ATV or a motorcycle. I'm just not quite sure what to get. There are a couple of them that I was looking at, considering the Honda Rancher for those long days of trail riding. The only thing about an ATV is, you can't take it down any public roads. That's why I was thinking about maybe getting like a dual sport or an adventure style motorcycle, just putting some off-road tires on it, maybe even pulling it on a trailer behind my car. I got a little Ford Focus with a 5-speed transmission, and I think it could pull a motorcycle pretty easy. So I would just pull it to wherever I wanted to ride the trails, unload, ride the trail for a day, come back to the car, load it back up on the trailer, go to a room. That way if I was having any trouble or running low on gas, I could just get on the road and just take the road to a gas station or whatever. I have a little GPS on there. And I think most logging roads and what do you call those, like fire lanes, I think GPS has those. I think they're on there. So I think that would be kind of neat. One of the bikes I was looking at, is pretty intriguing to me, was that new Royal Enfield Himalayan. I know it's a Royal Enfield, and I know they're made in India, but I think you can buy them brand new for just under, well, probably a little over $5,000 if you include the tax, title, license, and whatever dealer fees nonsense they got going on. So maybe around, let's say, $5,500 out the door. You'd have a brand new bike. It's got pretty good suspension travel. It comes with a center stand, comes with a windshield. It's fuel injected. It's only a 400cc. But people say it can go down the highway at like 60, 65 pretty easy, no problem. And then the later model ones even have anti-lock brakes. People say they're pretty good. The later model ones are good. The first year I think they had some trouble with them, but they worked all those kinks out. And from what I've heard, I haven't heard of anyone saying the bike was a real POS, that it was just always broke down. I haven't heard any of that. People who have them say they're pretty reliable and pretty good. Even though it's a smaller motor, it's air cooled, 400cc. It does have an oil cooler, which is really good. I think that was a really good idea. When you're just going slow through the woods, you want to keep your oil cool, especially if you don't have liquid cooling. Like I said, it comes with a center stand, windshield, fuel injected. It has a 4-gallon fuel tank, and I heard that it'll do around 60 miles to the gallon. So a 4-gallon fuel tank is more than enough. And it doesn't weigh much. I went to the dealership because I live in southeast Wisconsin, and Royal Enfield's headquarters are in Milwaukee. And right below the headquarters, like on the floor below it, on the ground floor, is a Royal Enfield dealership, and they sell Royal Enfield exclusively. So one day the wife and I went there just to look at one, because I wanted to look at it and sit on it and see what it was all about. And even sitting on the bike, I could get my feet flat on the ground, and for an adventure bike, I thought that was really neat, and it wasn't very heavy. A lot of those, like the KLR, the Africa Twin, the the Honda and Suzuki dual sports, you can't get your feet planted flat on the ground. At least me, and I'm 5'11". So I was thinking, man, it would be really nice to have a small light bike that I could pull behind my car. I could pull to wherever our trails I want to ride the trail. And if the trail was really rough or really muddy or something like that, or I just couldn't get through, I could just get on the road and go around that section, get back on the trail, and there you go. I was all set. I can get to any gas station or food I'd want to. Hopefully it's cheap to insure. I did not call any insurance companies to see, but I don't think it would be a very expensive one, at least just for like a liability. I wouldn't put comp and collision on, you know, a $5,000 bike. You know, if I ate it, you know, I would just have to fix it myself and pay. So that was one option, and I'm thinking about doing that because there's a lot of trails. There's like a Trans-Wisconsin trail that goes north and south from like the Illinois border by the Mississippi River that goes all the way to Lake Superior. And I don't think it's like an official trail. It is just like a bunch of logging roads, and it follows some ATV trails, you know, that someone or a group of people had just put together. But I think that would be really cool. And I've always heard of the Trans-America Trail that goes east and west across the United States. So I thought, you know, if I had a car and a trailer, I could just tow it to one section, ride a section, go back to the car and trailer, ride the next section, you know, until my vacation was up, my week or two that I took. Then I could just go back at a later date and ride, you know, whatever section that I wanted to. I could go out to like Wyoming, Colorado, and ride all those trails through the mountains and things like that without having to ride the bike all the way there and all the way back. Because I don't want to be like changing back and forth from like road tires and dirt tires. You know, I just want to put dirt tires on it and call it a day, and just ride, you know, as much dirt as I can and try to stay away from riding pavement and wearing out those tires. So that was an option. That was probably, well, you know, they say it comes with like a 2-year, I think, a 2-year unlimited mile warranty. Maybe it's 3, but I think it's 2. But again, people say they're pretty good, and if anything did break down, I think they're pretty easy to work on and get it fixed back up and get it going again. Now another one that I was thinking about was the Africa Twin. Now that bike would be awesome just for touring the country and touring trails. But again, that's a bigger, heavier bike. It has really good suspension. But again, then you're kind of stuck riding your knobby tires on pavement. And yeah, I guess I can still tow around, but that one, you flip that one over, you just kind of, you're going to destroy a pretty nice, expensive motorcycle. And I don't think I can get my feet flat on the ground on one of those. So it's going to fall over. And it's probably, you know, at least 3 times the price of the Royal Enfield. And yes, no doubt in my mind, it's a better bike. Now the third one I was thinking about, and I've always kind of thought they were interesting, and I've always kind of wanted one, is a Ural sidecar motorcycle with the 2-wheel drive in the back. If they weren't so expensive, I'd probably have one by now. But being able to lock that rear, you know, I don't think it really has a differential, but you lock that rear axle, then you have just a solid rear axle in the back, so you can go take it, you know, off-road and through a little water, a little bit of mud. I don't think it would go through anything real extreme. That would be great if I wanted to go like camping or something, because I could put all my gear in that sidecar. That sidecar is huge. You can carry a lot of luggage in that sidecar. But I don't really think the price is reasonable, being that it's made in Russia, and I don't have a lot of faith in the reliability or the quality of the bike. I would be real nervous out there in the middle of nowhere at night or wherever I am with my faith in a Ural. Now, I think the newer ones are really good. They're fuel injected now too. And again, I haven't heard any real bad things about them. The older ones had issues for sure, but I think the newer ones are pretty straight. I think they got everything pretty well ironed out. But again, the price tag on them is a little bit extreme. I think those for just like a gear up, like the two-wheel drive gear up, is probably like 16 or 17,000. But then you don't have a windshield. You know, they strip all the accessories off and make you buy them separate, and they mark them way up. So probably by the time I had the bike that I really wanted, it'd probably be around $20,000. And by that time, I would probably be better off just to buy the Africa Twin. And, you know, that's a Honda. And then, you know, I probably have a little bit too much faith in Honda, but I've had a lot of Hondas. I've never had one let me down. They've always been really good machines. The fourth one I was thinking about getting is the Yamaha Raptor, the 700 Raptor. But again, the price tag is just crazy. It's like $8,000 for just a base model 700, and really not getting anything. I mean, you're getting like a big engine on a small, lightweight frame with really good suspension. I think it would ride really nice over the bumps. I think they do okay on fuel, but they only have a 3-gallon tank. They have basically like no fenders on them, so you're just gonna get blasted with dirt and rocks and sand and dust, whatever. You're just gonna have it all over your feet and your jeans. When you can have the Honda Rancher for a lower price, have fenders, but it's a heavier machine with probably doesn't ride quite as nice. And the reason I was looking at the Honda and the Yamaha, even though they're two completely different machines, is because I don't want anything with a belt drive. You know, I like the fact that they still put real gears in them. And a Honda and Yamaha are the last ones left. Those are like the last two machines you can buy with a regular transmission with the gears and not a belt drive. So, man, I think the Royal Enfield, if it's a good machine and it's reliable, that's a really good price on that bike. And for what I'm going to do with it, you know, that little bit of money, even if it, you know, conks out once in a while, or if I drop it and it gets a little banged up, it's not that big of a deal because I didn't pay a lot for it. Boy, it sure looks like rain out here. Weather said it wasn't supposed to rain, but they lie all the time. But it's definitely raining out there. So those are my thoughts. I think a Royal Enfield on a trailer, just pulled behind my car, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And, you know, I'd get like the aluminum panniers for it, carry all my gear. I'm not a big fan of camping on a motorcycle. Usually after, you know, a long day on the road or on the trail, you want to get a room and just take a shower, turn the air conditioner on. I don't like being all sweaty then having to sleep in the woods with the bugs. I don't really care for that. So I wouldn't have to worry about bringing like a tent or sleeping bag or any of that with me. So there's the future plans. Again, maybe next year I'll have to really get serious and look into one of those Royal Enfields. Probably nothing this year though. But if that's something you'd guys like to watch the videos of me on the Royal Enfield riding trails around different states and just kind of doing some adventure and exploring, riding through like hills and mountains areas. Because that's more what I'm into. I'm when I go on vacation, I want to get away from society. You know, I don't want to go to the same places everyone else is going. You know, I want to get out there on my own. You know, the desolation of being, you know, in the middle of nowhere and having, you know, only what you brought with you. That's what I enjoy. And I think that would make some really good videos too. Because, you know, there's always the unexpected. You come around a corner, huge water hole, river, bridge fell down, things like that. So if that's something you guys want to see, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments of what you think about that little Royal Enfield motorcycle. Check it out. I don't think it's a bad bike. All right, take care. You guys have a great day. Goodbye.